Climate change, which came about due to the Industrial Revolution of the 19th century that ushered in mass production and spurred rapid development in first world countries, is now having widespread effects around the globe today. The change in climate, which is a result of global warming, has led to droughts, cyclones, flooding, water and food shortages, among other natural disasters. Countries agreed at the global level that climate change must be mitigated and adoption strategies are put in place to save people from its threats. But analysts say Africa cannot afford the mitigation costs, estimated at around $25 billion per year for 2010 to 2015.
Adaptation has proved to be one of the most expensive initiatives throughout, because we are looking at construction of dams, water harvesting, materials and equipment. We are looking at technology transfer. We are looking at research, because we want to develop the most resistant crops to drought.
Zero Regional Environment Organization Director, Mr. Shepard Rigaza, says unlocking such funds is a huge task for African countries.
The estimate so far says that we need about $100 billion per year, but what is available is $10 billion. So you can see that there's really a challenge in terms of providing funding for that particular cause. And one of the things that we need to take note of is the impacts of climate change on our economies, especially Africa.
Action 24 Programs Director Mr. Archieford Chemhere says while Africa has contributed less carbon emissions than the developed countries, sub-Saharan Africa, including Zimbabwe, is the most vulnerable to climate change effects through a reduction in agricultural production and reduction in the gross domestic product.
Our economy has been thriving very much from the agricultural sector, the tourism sector, and also the mining sector. And you can see of the three sectors that are actually contributing significantly to our economy, agriculture and tourism, they are bound to be affected directly by climate change.
At the UN climate talks in 2009, wealthy countries pledged up to $30 billion per year between 2010 and 2012 to fight climate change, but little money has materialized. In Zimbabwe, GDP dropped by 3% after the 1983 and 1992 droughts. Same drought reduced agricultural GDP by 1.2 billion rands in South Africa and cost Zambia 300 million. This raises questions on whose responsibility is it to fund climate change adaptation. While developed countries benefited and African countries are bearing the brunt, is it reason enough for African governments to rely on funds from multilateral institutions to fight climate change? Tapiwa Machemedze, ZBC News, Harare.